I guess when you hit the record button, you got to change it up just a little bit. But I tell you, walks for me, they change everything. So they seem to create so much magic. I got a chance to be able to go on a walk yesterday. Went on the beach, and I went the opposite way of what I generally go. And I went all the way, and I used to take this walk on during the pandemic when there was nothing to do and the beaches were actually shut down, which is the craziest thing. Most of you could not even imagine the beaches being shut down. But I got a chance to walk, and as I walked, I got to see the ocean. I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. I had the music in. I was listening to some Forrest Frank, and just really spending some time with the Lord. And it was amazing because walking, unless you're trying to power walk or you're trying to run walk or whatever it is, it slows you down. Like, you see things different. You see things at a different pace. And I met a guy named Cousin Vic. It was in France when one of my friends got married there. His name was Matt Scanlon. I'm wearing his chain from Exoterics today. And a big shout out to Matt Scanlon and Exoterics. But I was at his wedding, and Cousin Vic came to the pool. He walked up next to me, and he was like, hey, I just want to let you know that life looks a little bit different at 3 to 4 miles an hour. And I was like, what do you mean? And he sat down with me and told me about this walk that he did for, hours and days or whatever it was. And he said that he just saw life different. And while I was walking on the beach yesterday, things seemed to slow down. My mind slowed down. I started to be filled up. And once I slowed down, I started to be able to hear what God was saying as opposed to in the fast-paced things that we're doing. And as I walked, I realized, and I looked out at the ocean and how big it was, I realized that the challenges that I had in my life and that I'm going through right now and that I'm in, when I look at it in comparison to what God has created, it's not that big of a deal. And God started to help me to understand that He's got me exactly where He needs me to be and at the exact right time. And that if He needed me someplace else, He'd have me there. This was a thing that I heard from my dad, growing up a ton. But as I walked along the beach, what I found is that he took the time and, I slowed down. Second, he started to fill me up. And then towards the end of my walk, I actually encountered a couple of people. The first person I came up on needed a little bit of encouragement. She told me that she was possibly going to hair school, and I got to encourage her on her journey. Then the second person that came up, her name is Drew, and she had a testimony, and her testimony needed to be listened to. So the first person I got to encourage and, talk with, encourage based off my experience in life. Second person in Drew, I got a chance to be able to listen to her testimony so she could be heard and she could be seen. And I sat with her. And then as I was leaving, then God just put it on my heart, share with her the simplicity of my love, that it's not complicated to be able to accept. It's simple. And so you don't have to go through all these things to be able to get to me. I'm here. I love you. I have grace, meaning that in the event that you screw up, which you will because you're a human being, then I'll cover it with my grace and with my love. And when I got home, I realized that what started it all was taking a walk. And so what I invite you to do today, if you're not, stop this, what you're listening to right now with me and with the podcast. What I would do is I'd stop, put on your running shoes or your walking shoes, and then play this again when you go out on your walk, and walk for 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, and maybe walk for as long as the podcast is. And I tell you, the clarity that starts to come, how much you start to slow down. And then that's the place when we get quiet that we can hear exactly what God would have for us. And he reiterated it in Proverbs 1. He encourages us to bask in the wonder of his wisdom and then bless other people in our path that he brings to us. So let's get this party started.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never know, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Big shout out to Small Town Hats Company, smalltownhatsco.com, and Steve Long. This guy is absolutely amazing. I got inducted into, or I'm getting inducted into the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame. And I'm excited about this. It's a huge honor. I believe that it's only happening because my brother, made things happen. My coach Duffy, thank you so much to you. You guys made this happen, and so it's such a huge thing, such a huge honor for Lompoc, California, where I grew up. But I think the most important part is that the people who need to be honored at the highest level is Coach Duffy, Coach Haskins, Coach Lawrence, Coach Long, all these guys, Coach Boyer, all these guys, they were literally they were coaches to be able to build men. And, they did a hell of a job. They continue to do a hell of a job. And we were very, very fortunate to grow up in Lompoc, even the ones of us that were boneheads and didn't listen, Coach McIntyre, all of you that are there in Lompoc. I mean, we were all very, very fortunate to be able to have you. And I don't take this honor lightly, going into the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame. And I'm actually being inducted with Steve Long, and he has a hat company. There's the hat right there. It's the Vibe hats, and they're going to be available very, very soon. But he's incredible. And if you get a chance and you have a company, I would definitely recommend Small Town Hats Co. This guy is unbelievable, just an unbelievable human being. And if you get a chance to be able to listen to his podcast, he was on just recently, and you'll absolutely love him. So in today's proverb, which is Proverb 1, actually it was yesterday that this one happened, and I didn't get a chance to be able to record, but I wanted to record for you guys, and for myself. As I sat down and read this, is like Proverbs 1 encourages us to bask in the wonders of his wisdom and then bless other people in our path. And sometimes we don't get a chance to be able to bless people at the highest level because we don't bask in God's wonders enough. And, it's just the small little things. I was talking with Drew yesterday, and she was telling me about baptism, and she was telling me about, her journey as a Christian woman. And she is an incredible young lady. She got a great testimony. And she was telling me about different things as far as, not knowing if she was saved or if she was saved. And then she was talking about baptism and all the things. And I remember there was a guy that I connected with. His name is David Rudd. If you're out there, I love you, man. And connected with him in San Diego. And it was interesting because he said to me, he talked about baptism, and, he said, some people are going to be mad at me for saying this, but it was just a great thing to hear. He said, what do you do when you get ready for work? And I was like, well, I brush my teeth, whatever. He's like, what do you do before you do all that? And I was like, well, I take a shower. And he's like, what comes out of the faucet? And I said, water. He said, where does the water go? I said, well, it goes all over me, I guess. And he said, well, that's washing you clean every single morning. And he said, what I always think about, this is what David was saying to me, what I always think about is every time I hop in the shower and water goes over the top of me, I think of it as God washing me clean from my sins, the things that I, silly decisions that I made yesterday, and he makes me new every single day. Now, maybe this doesn't work as much for the people who don't take a shower every day. If you don't take a shower every day, then do it, maybe just not for yourself, but do it for other people that are around you, because you don't want to be funky. But when Dave said that, it made so much sense, and it was so simple. And then I thought about the simplicity of the gospel. I thought about the simplicity of God's love. And it's not that we have to do anything to be able to get it. He gives it to us as soon as we say, hey, I want to be there. And in Proverbs, it talks about this. Like in Proverbs 1, at the end of Proverbs 1, let me say, we jump to the end, but it says, but whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. And this is after he goes through a lot of things that we're going to go through today and talks about all the challenges that are going to come. But what he's saying is the moment that you turn is the moment that I kick in. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to, and she, this young lady, Drew, and Drew, hopefully you're listening to today's episode. She kept telling me, she was like, I hope that I'm going to be a good Christian. I said, there's no such thing as a good Christian. And because if you're a good Christian, you're doing it by works and you're doing it by ritual and religion, as opposed to letting it happen in your heart because God wants to do the work. And if he does the work, then you're going to talk about him and you're not going to talk about your methods. And we sat there, and then I asked the question that David Rudd asked me years ago. He said, let me ask you this, Kelly. He said, when a fisherman goes out fishing, does he clean the fish before he catches them? And I sat and I knew right then what he was talking about. Because most of the time we're waiting to get clean to come to God and say, okay, I'm ready. And God is saying, no, I don't clean the fish before I catch them. I want to catch you. And then I'll do all the work. I'll do the cleaning, but I'll do it in my time. And in his time happens when we go on a walk. Like when we go on a walk with him, we have the tendency to calm down. There's peacefulness in that walk. And I'm even talking literally, like, it's not as peaceful walking Skylar and Ziggy, because she's pulling the other way and he's going nuts. But I tell you, when you take a walk, I mean, whether it be with Ziggy and Skylar or it just be on your own, it tends to slow things down if we allow it to. So in Proverbs 1 through 7, or verse 1 through 7, wisdom, instruction, understanding, insight, prudence, what is right, what is fair, knowledge, discretion, wisdom, again, discretion, guidance, all starts with the fear of God. Sit in that for a second. Imagine if they said, here's the benefits. Imagine if you were going to college and they said to you, okay, for the tuition that you're going to pay, right? You're going to get wisdom, you're going to get instruction, you're going to get understanding, insight, prudence, what is right, what is fair, knowledge, discretion, wisdom, discernment, guidance. You would be like, yes, sign me up. If they said, come to this event, whatever industry you're in, say you're in the hospitality industry, and they said, if you come to this event in the hospitality industry, say like high tech or BITAC, if you come to BITAC convention, we're going to give you wisdom, according to the hospitality industry. We're going to give you wisdom. We'll give you instruction. We'll give you understanding. We'll give you insight. We'll give you prudence. We'll give you what is right, what is fair. We'll give you knowledge, discretion, wisdom, discernment, and guidance. Everybody would sign up. But it's amazing because this all starts with the fear of God, which is just the respect of God. And what God is saying is, I just want you to spend time with me. And the way that you spend time with me is just walk with me. Just go on a walk with me. And some people say, like, I don't have time to be able to go on a walk. Yes, you do. Just wake up a little early. What Patrick Hummel said to me is, he said, if my family, I know that they get ready at 6 o'clock or at 7 o'clock, I wake up at 4 or 5 so I can put on my armor. And I said, well, what's your armor? He said, I got to put on the truth. I've got to read. I've got to move my body. I've got to do these things because then I put my armor on for the rest of the day. The way that we put our armor on is go on a walk. And so in verse 8 and 9 is fill your mind and your heart with the greatness of the Spirit. And the way that we could do this is by walking. And when we walk, not running, not sprinting, I've never seen anywhere in the Word, and I would look for this, and I haven't found it yet. I've never seen anywhere in Proverbs where it's like run towards what you think is right. It's always talking about walking. And I think that's a figurative and a literal sense of slowing it down and just taking one step towards it. In verse 10 through 19, silliness is coming, and that is why you need to fill up now. And we talked about in the last episode, if you got a chance to, it was out of order, but it was Proverbs 2, and it was talking about like listening before you need it. And this is the tough thing, is to fill up our mind and our heart with the greatness of the Spirit, right? So he talks about that. And then he says, silliness is coming. And this is why we need to fill up now. Because God knows of the challenges that are coming in our lives. And so what he wants us to do is fill up in peacetime, like wars are won in peacetime preparation. They're not won when you go into the war and then you start making decisions. And I tell you, probably one of the coolest things, I read about Warren Buffett, and they said, are you the busiest guy ever? He said, no, I sit and I read. And they said, well, how do you make decisions so quick? He said, because I'm so calm and I read so much that when the decision comes, I've already done all the research on it and I can make a decision there. And I look at my brother in this, my brother, Rob Cardenas. So he has Cardenas Law Group. So if you're in Las Vegas and you've ever had any type of car accident, anything like that, personal injury, this guy he's the best, the absolute best. And one of the reasons why is because he calms his mind and he prepares himself in peacetime for the wartime. He doesn't try and prepare in wartime, but he keeps his mind so sharp because in his downtime, he's preparing for the challenges that will come. That's why he stays calm. That's why having Cardenas Law Group on your side is probably one of the best decisions that you'll ever have. So in verse 20 through 22, wisdom is calling out and is available if we will listen and apply it. Listen and then apply it. Most times it will happen when we slow down and we walk with him. Wisdom is calling out from everywhere. It literally is, but we have to listen and we have to apply it. And when we start to apply it, we start to see the benefits of it. But most times it'll happen when we slow down and just simply take a walk with him. In verse 23 through 32, things won't go well when you choose to walk without him or just not walk at all. And in Proverbs 1, if you look at the Proverbs, they're broken down. So there's 31 Proverbs in the book of Proverbs. If you break them down, chapters 1 through 10 is the niceties. It's all the features and benefits. From 11 to 20, it's all about the things that in the event that you act a fool, these things will happen. So it's the consequences. And then from 21 through 30, he doesn't pull any punches at all. He's like, look, you need to step away because you're about to go down the wrong road. And then in Proverbs 31, it's the payoff. It's the Proverbs 31 woman, but you can insert that Proverbs 31 business, Proverbs 31 friend, Proverbs 31, culture in your business. And if you read through that, that's the payoff. But to be able to get to the payoff, you have to have listened to the features and benefits. They have to be so strong and prevalent in your life. Then you have to understand that in the event that I don't listen to them, then these things are here. And then the strong part. But imagine the way that it's broken down from 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and 21 through 31. It's generally the way that our month goes. In the first of the month, we're joyous. We've got a new lease on life. This is the same way with a year, right? Our year starts off, New Year's resolution. Then in the middle, it's like, well, if I don't do those New Year's resolutions, this is going to happen. And then at the end of the year, then we're like, oh my gosh, now the rubber's hitting the road. But if we want to experience the Proverbs 31, we have to take into account the first 30 and apply them. So things won't go well when we choose to walk without him or just not walk at all. So just be conscious of it. And then in verse 33, it sums it all up. And this is the greatest part, which is the simplicity, like the simplicity of his love. See, I went on a walk yesterday, and as I walked and I slowed down, and then he filled me up, and then he brought people into my path. The first that I needed to encourage through my experiences that I had in life. It had nothing to do with Proverbs. It had to do with the professional beauty industry and how simple, she was about to go into beauty school and she was thinking about it. And I was like, okay, cool. Based off my experience, these things I would suggest you look out for. And then I walked, a little bit longer, and then I met up with Drew, and Drew was walking Callie. It's a dog that Ziggy absolutely loves. And I got a chance to be able to talk to her, and I got to listen to her testimony. So she felt seen and she felt heard. And then as I was leaving, then God just impressed on my heart, hey, just let her know of the simplicity of my love. But none of those things could have happened if I didn't go on the walk. And in verse 33, he sums it up this way. The great thing is that the instant we are ready to walk, he is primed and ready to go. Have you ever been in that spot where you ask someone to do something and they're like, well, I got to see. And then you have that friend that you ask them to do something and they're like, bam, let's go. God is that friend. My son asked me yesterday about playing 2K, NBA 2K, whooped me, but he asked me to play. And literally, yes, right now. If he wants to go outside, he wants to go to the beach, he wants to do whatever. Yes, I'm doing it. because I tell you, there's probably not going to be a time where he doesn't want to do that anymore. The greatest thing is that the instant that we are ready to walk, he is primed and ready to go. His grace separates our bad decisions and brings us out of our past into our present. And just to let you know, his presence is enough. It's enough. And then he'll bring people into your life. And when he brings people into your life, if you've walked with him, you've calmed down, you've got peaceful, and he's filled you up, then you'll be able to pour out that blessing into every single person he brings into your path. And you'll be able to direct their eyes to him, is where he wants it ultimately. It was interesting as I was writing because a walk has so many benefits. It calms, it clarifies, and it brings insight. I don't think it's a coincidence that our relationship with God is often referred to as our walk with him. It's not complicated, although many will tell you it is. He just wants you to walk with him. And as you do, he will bring people into your life at the right time. Some to encourage you, some to be encouraged, and many to share the simplicity of his love. So I encourage you, take a walk today. If you haven't got the book, it's Inchstones, The Vibe Within. You can do that. Also, the book, The Vibe. This one pertains more to the business side. And I tell you, it's one of my friends told me it was one of the best business books for entrepreneurs that he could ever imagine. I'm holding it up right now. It's called The Vibe. And it takes you through 6 indicators, which is culture, vibe, process and procedure, productivity, innovation, and the ability to adapt immediately. And then the Inchstones is a workbook. So it takes you through Proverbs, corresponding proverb, corresponding day. It has a journal where, you can, it asks you what verse hit your heart, what did it make you think about in your mind, and what action can you add to it today. It's very simple, but it walks you through, and it has a place for 3 months of journal so you can see it right next to each other. I invite you to do that because I believe that 31 days of Proverbs can really start to change things. It's not any magic beans, but it gets you on the path. So take a walk today. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I thank you so much for spending time with me. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got 2 shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.